Hey crew, Conrad coming at you with a classified ad review on this BFD mid-engine powered by an LSV8 and backed by a Mendiola transmission. This thing has just got to be an absolute slot car in the dunes. Let's take a closer look. Now here's a list of all the high points on this car just for time purposes. If you want the full list and you want to review the full ad, head over to our Facebook group, Sandcar Buy Sell Crew Community and Classifieds. Scroll down a bit and you'll find the full ad right here. Also, you're going to find a plethora of other cars for sale, but right now let's focus on this one. So let's get back. So here we are. This car is brought to you by Sandcar Buy Sell crew member Grant Siemens. He is based out of Kansas. He is asking $37,500 or best offer, and it's a bargain if you ask me. Once we get through this, I think you'll see why. We have a BFD mid-engine, which, by the way, BFD Motorsports is still in business, right? These folks are based out of Ramona, California, so if you need any work done to this car, service work, repair work, you want to take it back to the guys that know their car, right? Not only that, but if you dig this one and you need a four-seater, you can get one. Check this out. Oh my gosh, BFD Pro Series. BFD still in business. Let's get back to the mid-engine. Powered by an LS1 engine with a Mendiola 2D. He's got a PBS cable shifter, which works like butter. I've mentioned before, if you've watched any of these videos, sometimes mid-engine shifters can be jinky. The PBS cable shifter is a fantastic choice. He's got RBP 2-inch hollow spindles and hubs, electric power steering, super nice, especially when you're running these Razor style front tires. Also, Switch Pro's switch panel. I think I gotta get me one of those. Rugged intercom with headsets and car-to-car radio. New 1650 Sand Tires Unlimited paddle tires. 1075 fronts. Jet trim seats. Pro Armor 5-point belts. Thank you for installing the 5 points into that car. You know, at Sandcar Buy Sell Crew, we are big on safety. Let's see. Includes dirt tires on beadlock wheels. Always a bonus. This buggy has been fine-tuned. Bugs worked out. Handles great and is a blast to drive. I don't doubt it. It's got to be like a slot car. Willing to help with delivery of Sirius and would possibly consider trades. You're going to want to hit him up on our Facebook group or put it in the comments below and we'll get you in touch. All right, so let's jump in. So I don't know what the wheelbase of this car is, but it looks right. It looks like a spider, right? It is just planted to the ground. I love two-seat cars. I love mid-engine cars. These are some of my favorites, so you can tell I'm kind of geeking out on this one. But I'll stop. All right, so let's see what we see. First thing for me, roll cage design. A-pillar, very vertical, very straight up with a tight bend in the top. Love that setup, right? That's going to come down and tie in to the lacing inside. Also, the B-pillar, right at the bend here, coming back. Great protection. Remember that BFD is an off-road company as well, and they run off-road race cars, so you're going to get that technology built in. Then our C-pillar with a shock mount coming in up here, tying in. The little lacing that's up here. You got your A, I call it a quad stopper, right? With lacing through here. It's just a beautifully designed chassis. I can't help but be excited about this car. Then what do we see? We have a Fox coilover on the front with a piggyback reservoir, but I do see a bump stop up front. Really nice stout front A-arms. Beautiful tin work. Light bar across the top. What was he saying about the seats? We can see the fuel tank right there in the back. Fuel filler. Easy to access to dump it in with the radiator in the wing trunk area. Just a really smooth line on that. Beadlock wheels. He said Sand Tires Unlimited. 1650s, that's a big tire, but you got a big tire for a big engine, right? Okay, let's jump into the next. Let's jump into the interior shot on this. So what do we see? Again, really nice shot of the lacing on that. Perforated floor, super important, right? Couple things I see here. Perforated floor and a fire extinguisher. You got to remember, sometimes we wreck these cars and we crash. The tanks, unfortunately, sometimes they break open, right? And when you have a perforated floor, not only does it let the sand escape, and it's super fun when you're jumping to watch the ground leave because it's all boom. How? Boom. I mean, that's what that goes through on my head. Like, anyway. If the fuel tank happens to break, it's going to dump the fuel out and it's going to go through the floor instead of sliding on the floor up towards the front of the car. So I do prefer a perforated floor, whether that's stainless or if it's the old style with the, I can't remember. I'll just plug it in because I forget what it's called right now. Okay, now we're back. And what do we see? Here's the nice quad stopper going into the dash on that. I see the radios down here by your left hand. Really nice setup on the steering We've got some billet lights angled out. And, oh yeah, what did we say? Jet trim seats. These are some of the best in the business. I love the shoulders where it comes through. Puts the placement in that just right. We've also got a rear view mirror on that. Looks like it's set up really well. Let's jump into the next. Okay, so cockpit view once again. Here's that perforated floor. I'm going to point it out. Our radios. Here's the crotch strap, big on safety. Really nice leather wrapped steering wheel. Your switch panel, your gauges, everything's just right here. That's got access on it. Your shifter, your walker brake is easily reachable, right? Always cracks me up when guys put a steering brake in there and they put it so far away that you can't reach it, right? As soon as you put your seatbelts on, you can't reach the walker brake. So nice placement there. Also, I see a dead pedal. Some guys forget to put those in there. I mean, this car's equipped, right? It's ready to run. Sneaking through here, I see some front disc brakes on that as well. There's that bump stop on there. But otherwise, that's about all I can see in here. Next. Yeah, I really like this car. I'm already making it mine, right? I'm thinking with the stance and how I mentioned earlier about it being like kind of like a spider, I'm thinking Black Widow, right? Painting Black Widow on the side, putting the spider with the little red on there. Sorry, I'm dreaming out loud. Moving on, really nice trailing arms. Look at that hairpin style on there as well. Then we've got, as the arms come back, you've got the brackets right here. Beautiful setup, really nice beadlock wheels. You said Douglas beadlocks. You've got your front and rear disc brakes on this. And look how the shock, the triangulation coming up. I mean, this is just the type of stuff that, it's the reason why I chose this ad. I mean, BFD just builds an amazing car. All right, I don't see much else I can point out on this. We said Fox shocks with reservoirs. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Next. And check out this shot. This must be the Kansas campgrounds. We got nothing like this in the Southwest, right? But super nice setup. What do we see here? Oh, the front light, right? I mentioned earlier that we've got the two lights up at the A-pillar, but also this yellow light down here, you might want to consider if you currently have a car, put yellow lights on the front. It really helps cut down on the, well, it doesn't cut down the dust. It cuts down the reflection on the dust. And then once you put on a yellow light like we see down here, it really helps spread that light out all the way around when you're driving at night, as if it would work during the day. But during the day, the yellow light is also an indicator, typically on the back of the car when it's dusty, to let people know that, hey, there's somebody coming. So it's nice to have the yellow lights front and back running anytime you're driving the car. Beautiful A-arms again. Look at the pockets down here. I mean, super stout. You're not going to run into any issues with this car. It's just going to haul ass and you're going to have a really good time. Let's see. Look at, get an idea of the roll cage design, the head placement, where it's going to be super safe. Oh, we've got the radios hanging right here. Really nice LED light bar. It looks like double whips on that as well. All right, next. So if you've watched the channel long enough, you know that I'm a stickler for really well thought out cars. Placement of the items throughout. And as I was looking at this earlier, I was like, okay, so here's the intake. Where does it go? Oh, look at that. The filter drops down right inside the side panel, right? I see a lot of guys will run a filter up here, dual filters coming out. Sting, what is that? Sting, I'm in Arizona. What the hell are those called? Those things with the tails? Oh, forget it. I don't know. It leaves the air cleaner exposed to the elements and exposed to the sand. I really like the fact that this intake is tucked away and hidden behind the side panel and the fuel tank, right? It's going to help keep your air clean as it's coming in. Again, here's a nice shot of that fuel tank with the side fill with really easy access, keeps the weight down low. And also the shock mounts. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at the welds on that. Stacking dimes, right? Just a beautiful setup, little extra dimple die in there. Strengthens it up, looks really nice as well. So here's with the LS V8 on that and our Mendiola. We can see it peeking out right here. High torque starter. Great placement of the headers coming out and through. And again, we've got the mounted just 4 of the wing trunk on that. So that's about all I see in here. Let's jump into another exterior shot. Oh, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Check out this wet sand at the Imperial Sand Dunes Recreation Area. So yeah, he did run this all the way from Kansas out to Southern California to hit the happiest place on earth, Glamis, right? So we did have a lot of rain, so these definitely got to be recent pictures. I mean, look at the sand that's caked on this car. But again, it gives you a really good idea of those big 1075 front tires and those 1650s in the back. This car's definitely going to want to stick to the sand. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whoop-de-doos, turns, wheelies, not so much. Remember, it's a mid-engine, but you're going to have an absolutely epic time in this car, and this is just a fantastic shot. I want to jump in, hit the starter, and rock and roll. All right, let's see what else we got. So now we've got a rear shot in the dunes. Let's blow this up a little bit here and see what we see. Now we get a good shot of those headers, right? Coming in from inside the frame, exiting out the back of the frame. Mendiola poking out. What did he say? PBS cable shifter on there. Some nice taillights. And what did I say earlier? I might know what I'm talking about, right? Yellow lights facing out the back, to let you know, hey, there's somebody up there. Those yellow lights tend to shine through the dust. And on a holiday weekend, it can be very dusty. I do see the bump stops in the back as well. And get an idea of the structure on this. He did say it has a wing trunk on this as well. I see a full skid plate protecting the engine and transmission. Otherwise, I think that's all I see on this. Let's get into the next one. Now we've got a shot from the passenger rear. Again, look at this, hanging the front tire over, putting the frame right on the sand. Stuff like that is just so much fun to do, right? Especially when you tuck a front tire way up and another tire way down. It's just like, I don't know. I geek out on that stuff. I don't really have much to point out on this. I think I've pretty much covered the whole car. I do see double whips on it. It looks like they're lighted. You see the antenna for the car-to-car on that as well. I love the shape of these rear cages on this. It's not just a straight down forward design. Really some thought put into the chassis package overall. It's just a super bitchin' car. All right, let's see what else we got. We're getting closer to closing this down. Sitting in camp waiting for you to bring a big old bag of cash, right, and drive this car away. And it's actually not even I'd say a medium bag of cash, because the price he's asking for this car, where was he at? $37,500. Let's see if I can remember. I think that's right. I don't know. That's a medium bag of cash, right? Absolute bargain for the car. The performance that you get out of this, the fact that all the bugs are worked out of it and it's ready to rock and roll. All you're going to be doing is changing fluids, doing regular maintenance on this car, and you're going to have a absolutely kick-ass time in it. A lot of fun. How's that saying go? Chicks dig it. Guys respect it. Yeah, I would definitely pick up this car if you were in the market for a two-seater. Okay, folks, yeah, we'll go ahead and close this out. I'll stop dreaming about this car. If you like what you see and you want to support the channel, head over to sandcarbysell.com and get yourself some merch. Also, we have a Patreon account. A little bit goes a long way into bringing you more epic content. And finally, just subscribe. It's free. Otherwise, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. See you in the dunes.